I mean, I've said that plenty of times before. That well, I won't say plenty of times, but I've said on that before that just because a nigga wins MVP doesn't mean he was the best player in the season. I've said that, so I do agree with that. If that's the context, I mean, there is context to each year. There's context to a lot of MVPs. I mean, I don't think you're saying no wild shit. I would like to hear somebody saying otherwise.
I mean, nobody. I don't think people really say the best player is the MVP or the other way around, whatever. What is your issue with this year, though? Like, why?
The best player in the league did not win MVP.
But that usually doesn't happen.
And again, I'm saying that's the
Yes, he
issue.
did though,
Who?
in my opinion, and in many other people's opinions.
That's also
The
true.
best player in the league did win the MVP.
The best player in the
Yeah,
league is
what
very
are we
not
doing?
definitive. So, like, you can't really say the best player didn't win when a lot of people will tell you Jokic is the best player in the league.
And I would ask them what's their argument for Jokic over like Giannis.
I'm sure he can give you a great argument right now. Go ahead, Ela.
And mind you, you know what's also funny? The argument that Eli is about to give me, I can guarantee you that uh Bill Simmons or Brian Windhorst or Chris Herring or Dan Devine, or no, Dan Devine votes for
Chris Herron hate is crazy. Chris Herron is nice. Don't judge on him.
but and mind you, I don't his vote isn't on here. I'm truly just picking random names off of this. Chris Broussard or Chris Kirshner. I can guarantee you the argument. I mean, Kendrick Perkins has a vote on here, guys. Um, the argument that Eli is about to give me is not going to be the argument that they'll give me, and I can guarantee you the argument that all of them would give me as to why Jokic is over Giannis would be some phony baloney. Does that make sense?
But why do you? I, it would make sense if like, cause like most of the niggas who I see vote for Jokic, right? You got you got fucking, you got like you got like Kevin Pelton or like or even this even to some extent Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo. They've stated like they've stated their reasoning and their reasoning like not I wouldn't say it perfectly lines up with what I said, but it somewhat lines up with what I said. I don't think most of these niggas are dumb. Now there are some dumb niggas here, like Kendrick Perkins is just flat out dumb. But I don't think I think I expect just expecting like the idea of the MVP to not be a thing is like I feel like that's wishful thinking. Like it just sadly it has to exist. Like there's literally like there's no universe where people play an 82 game season and for other than who's the best team in the league, we don't talk about anything. We don't talk about awards at the end of the year. That's just how life works. Like niggas get awarded for shit. Cause it's fun to talk about the awards. It's fun to bid people against each other. And B, at the end, like after these awards are given out or the perception of these awards are showcased, you can then see like you can then see like how niggas feel about like controversy. Like it's literally like it's a central part to like the NBA as an industry, right? So like just expecting that not to be a thing is wishful thinking. So like with what we have right now, like what would be the best way to fix voting, like including coaches? Because I'm not gonna lie, when players vote, them niggas dumbass, them niggas not
I
smart,
I
bro.
think I think I think honestly getting rid of incentives in the contract solely tied to these things would probably be the best bet. Because that's ultimately the issue.
Omar,
I'm looking at Kendrick
why do you think
Perkins.
that Jokic is getting voted as the MVP?
Hold on. One media propaganda. Just again, the idea of like talking about him. And people say this like, who was that? What woman was that Rachel? No, it wasn't Rachel Nichols. It was Doris Burke. Was it Doris Burke that said I vote based off a narrative?
But I don't even think the narrative was
No, I was
strongest for
Ramona
Jokic.
Shelmore.
Ramona
I don't think the
Sherman.
narrative is
But again,
strongest
but
for
again,
Jokic.
but again, again, even if you don't even think about don't harp on the idea of that. Just the overall concept of somebody openly saying I vote on narrative. Come on, bro. That's very silly. And that's especially very silly when we know that quote unquote narrative voting could mean extra money in X player's pocket
I
versus
don't know
another
if it's
player's pocket.
necessarily silly if we've been doing it for a while. If that's how this it's been set, then that's how it's been set.
It's been silly for a
And I
while.
agree with you, but that's how it is, and that's how it is. I just don't agree with this year saying that Jokic won off a narrative base when I don't think Jokic even had the strongest narrative. I think Embiid had the um, strongest thing
Hey,
going
can I
for him,
say
like the
something?
narrative base. And then also the best player not getting the MVP. There's been several cases of the best player not getting the MVP. Jordan didn't get it because of voter fatigue.
And that's a
And I
problem.
agree
And
with
that's a
you, and I agree
problem.
with you, but I'm saying that's just how shit is. Bron didn't get it. Like it's just how it is.
Yeah, Omar.
You ain't changing
Go ahead.
somebody's mindset.
The the person you're talking about, Ramona Shelburne, I think she's voting for Embiid. She's not voting for Jokic. The person said she votes off narrative.
Exactly, because Embiid's the narrative MVP.
And she
Embiid,
voted
that's
for
what I'm trying to
LeBron in
say.
2020.
Embiid has the strongest narrative case.
I don't know where y'all have seen that. But even again, this is
Bro,
still
because he
this
was, even when there was basically no argument for him, he was basically the MVP until Jokic fucking made sure that there was no dispute when a nigga averaged 35 fucking points like in the last month of the season, like almost a 35-point triple double for an entire month. Then niggas was like, I mean, yeah, nigga, at this point, yeah, we got to give it to the nigga, but before that, like it was still vastly in favor of Embiid. You
and
have to
again
admit
and
that.
again being timely in your play is shifting somebody's mindset behind it. There's no way that you can tell me that you have Embiid up until I don't know February, mid-February, and then he has like a good last stretch, and then you
It
say,
was a very
well,
close
or I'm saying somebody
race.
else has a last stretch.
Well, I mean, Jokic, but it's you got to contextualize for the stretch. The nigga averaged 32, 8, and 14 on 63% from the
Again,
field
that should not, but that should
the
not
But
last
if
change.
it's a
20 games of
close
the year, bro.
race,
That's
Bro,
Omar,
listen,
Omar, it's a
stop.
close race.
Because if somebody did that at the beginning of the season, it would not hold as much weight as it does at the end of the season. That's what I'm getting
That
at too. That
that's
doesn't make
that's
sense to me.
that's with everything though. No matter how fast you start,
Yo,
if
bro,
you don't end
I don't want you
first,
to come up here and tell me what it's about. I understand that it's about everything. I'm voicing the grievance that it should not be like
okay,
that.
Omar,
Because we'll end the conversation right there. It's about everything. You're right. All
nah.
right,
What I'm
space done.
trying to tell you is that if it was a close race throughout the whole year, if it was a close race, and then you just heard it, Jokic,
even
somebody
though it
saying
really
that
was.
Jokic just had a really good stretch at the end, wouldn't that mean he just overtook the other two?
To be honest with you, it shouldn't. I
How?
I don't.
He just built some separation,
And
Exactly
nigga. Like
again,
how?
let's
How?
I don't.
let's stop
Again,
being obtuse,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. Again, you're not gonna convince me because I ultimately think that MVP is voted wrong anyway. It should be the best player in the league. Like, if you are the best player in the league, which I believe Giannis is the best player in the league, that's the way it should be voted on.
And that's fine if you say
But
that, but what if
that doesn't
Giannis is
make
not
any
having the
sense,
best
bro.
season in the league? What if he just not?
It's a regular season award. There are no indicators that Giannis has had a better regular season than Jokic, bro. There's no indicators that anyone's had a better regular season than Jokic. And like I get it. Like we all like that. Like have these like we all have separate opinions, right? But at some point, when everything that we have available to us agrees on one fucking thing, maybe we should look at that one thing and be like, hey man, it's probably true.
What's the
Probably
everything? You still again, you can give your reason. What's your reason behind Jokic
every
being over?
available every available metric that every available one number metric that attempts to encapsulate impact. The ones that niggas pay attention to, all them shits have Jokic as number one.
And again,
And then
I would super argue with you, Eli, that about maybe a third of this list pays attention to the same metrics that you pay attention to.
I don't I would disagree with you. I think there's been a change in voter dynamic the last
You
couple of
stop,
years.
Eli.
Now some of these niggas know, but most of those niggas are not the niggas voting for Jokic.
And I would again disagree with you as well. I would
Chris
again disagree with you.
Chris Broussard not looking at them shits. That nigga didn't vote for Jokic. Kendrick Perkins not looking at them shits. That nigga ain't vote for Jokic. Ryan Windhorst probably not looking at that shit. That nigga did not vote for Jokic.
Jalen Rose has a vote on here, bro.
That's one of the niggas who Jalen and Green are one of the niggas who voted for you. Them niggas, but in Jalen's
That backs
defense,
up the advanced stats because if guys that don't look at advanced stats are voting for Jokic, then
but
that just proves it.
in Jalen's defense, he's been a pretty big fan of Jokic for like a pretty long time. So I think some of that is bias on his part. And him and Grady have a show. They talk to each other every day. So obviously that's seeking it. But Ryan Russillo and Bill Simmons have stated multiple times on their podcast that the mountain of statistical evidence played a part in their vote. Kevin, you can read any article
But
Kevin
again, I
Coates
think
wrote on this.
what statistical evidence is there? I'm not saying that there's not statistical evidence that does support his claim. I'm saying that yes. I'm saying the stats that you specifically value. I don't think that they're looking at it. I'm looking at a good third of this list. And ultimately that's what it comes down to too. And mind you, there's another thing that comes into this that comes into factor in this conversation as well. The incentives in this contracts are first place vote based as well. I understand winning the award is the thing, but first place votes is a big incentive. So you're as well fucking up people's first place votes when you do dumbass shit like this.
Who has an incentive for first place votes
I think all of them get incentives based off of first place votes.
in their contracts?
Yes. When you the way that you should look at it is like it's another bargaining chip. If you're talking about directly having first place incentives, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but literally they would just argue, hey, this person for the past 3 years has gotten X amount of first place votes.
First place votes, MVP votes.
I don't think that they even have to use that. Like Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, those guys are going to get max contracts regardless of MVP votes.
Yeah, if you're talking about first place votes players, they're already on a max contract.
Like Devin Booker's, I don't think he's ever gotten an MVP vote, and he's going to get a max contract.
Luka
regardless
for his whole career is going to
I
be
understand.
on a
I
max
understand what y'all are
contract.
saying, but if you do not think that all of this plays into the conversation, then all right, bro, we go on to the next thing.
It plays into the conversation, but if I'm Luka, I'm gonna be like, yo, bro, I already got 2 All NBAs, and I'm already in my 4th year. I need my max contract. I'm not gonna be like I got 2 first place MVP votes last year.
All right,
It's the same shit.
I hear you.
All right. I came in late. What's your problem with the voting?
It's stupid.
Why? You talking about who gets votes or the outcome of the votes?
But overall, I agree with you. It's
both.
stupid.
To be honest with you, both.
Why? I agree with you on the who get. Why Kendrick Perkins has a vote for MVP? That's funny. But why do you like? What's the problem with the results?
Yeah, wait, hold on. Matisse Thybulle just
dropped a banger.
He's hilarious. No, he's telling his reason as to why he's shouldn't get vaccinated. I just don't feel like it would benefit me. I didn't see any benefits outweighing what I could seek from alternative medicine. And there, all right. Either way, in my opinion, Giannis is the best player in the league, and I feel like the best player in the league should be an MVP, like the MVP. The idea that Giannis isn't the MVP is crazy to me.
If he's not having the best season, I don't know how you keep saying that.
I don't think. Okay, now I'm disagreeing because I don't think every year the best player in the league should be the MVP. I don't agree with that.
Why don't you think that every year the best player in the league should be MVP?
Because he's eventually going to take
because
a year
the best
off.
player in the league might not be having the best season. That's why, because the MVP at the end of the day is a regular season award. I'm thinking you're saying MVPs don't matter in like greater arguments or greater debates, because I would agree. I really don't know if MVPs matter that much because the best player doesn't win every year.
I know,
but if we're just going to say, the MVP doesn't matter because the best player doesn't win every year, then I don't agree with that. It's a regular season award. If you're having the best season, you're the MVP of that season. Now, I don't think MVPs should carry weight for players because you won one, and we're talking about it 5-6 years later like you're still that guy, then yeah, them MVPs don't matter. Let's calm down.
Russ.
But no, I'm not saying Russ. I'm not saying
Westbrook.
names in general. I'm just saying. But in terms of just what the MVP means, I mean, it's for that season. If that season you had the best season compared to anybody in the league, your season was the best. No matter what the context was, or maybe with the context. I'm not gonna say no matter what the context was, but
And you should be
with due
rewarded.
context, you should be awarded. Yeah. Now, if we're saying, oh, it's not fair because media members get votes and the media members use their personal bias and narratives, and maybe niggas is pulling strings, and now you got this player making X amount of dollars more because of this source, then okay, I see validity in that, and we can argue that and whatever. But no, I'm not about to just sit here and say, oh, bro, from 2019 to 2024, Giannis is the best player in the league. He should have all those MVPs. No, I'm not agreeing with that.
But again,
Also,
you
I don't
would
think
have
any
to
sport
point
does
to
that.
me. You would have to point to me. I think they do because it ultimately shakes out to be that way. When is the best player not at the best season?
In 2016.
LeBron,
We'll
2015.
say
LeBron,
Any year
2016.
LeBron didn't
any
win
year
it.
LeBron didn't
Yeah.
win MVP.
And again, I think y'all might want to make a different case outside of basketball or something. I agree. LeBron should have won MVP those years. What
Come
the
on,
fuck?
man.
Well, we're not saying LeBron should have. We're telling
Not in
you who.
2016.
Are you
Oh.
saying make arguments outside of basketball? So any other sport?
I'm saying the basketball one for me isn't gonna make sense because I understand. My fault. I understand that if in my opinion in basketball, if the best player in the league is there, bro, the best player in the league is having the best season.
No, I'm saying, are you saying don't use basketball examples, like use other examples of sports where the best player in the league or the guy that would be considered the best player in the league didn't win MVP? Like whoever had the best season
Yes,
did?
maybe it'll make more sense that way. If
Any defensive player in the NFL, damn near.
I'm about to say, I was gonna say, in my opinion, Cooper Kupp. I feel like Cooper Kupp had the best season last year, and I don't think he won MVP.
What
Nope.
Aaron Donald the past however many years was considered there's definitely a case for him being the best player, but MVP is like, and in football is obviously quarterback oriented. So there's some sports. Bang.
Heavily biased.
Okay, so it sounds like we're putting out a full on football. I'll concede that point though.
Baseball, they separate awards A into two conferences and B into like pitchers and fielders, and also for batting awards. So there's 9 different subcategories. That would be the perfect execution, which is similar to all NBA. Would you agree?
That sounds probably like the best. I ain't gonna lie.
Another one for that. There's I don't know enough about baseball to give you that cold hard truth, but I think just because they divide it so much, I don't know if there's a chance for the not best player to get rewarded in any way.
Any year Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or, and vice versa. Any year Messi won the Ballon d'Or.
Man, we literally told you soccer doesn't matter.
No, bro, you told me any sport.
We told
I mean,
you.
if we're gonna talk about any sport, bro, Modric did not deserve the Ballon d'Or.
All right, so we got
what'd you say?
even if we talk about big 3 in football, we already found football, so that's 2 out of the big 3. Are you saying that execute MVPs wrong? Which sure.
Say it again.
So we got 2 out of the big 3 sports that you would disagree with how they do like their MVP stuff, and I would even go as far as to say the best player in baseball has been probably Trout for like whatever the past however many years. To be fair, he's won a lot of MVPs, yeah, but
it sounds like, and
there's voter fatigue in baseball just as much.
I would have to know more about the baseball situation, but the way that they have it divided sounds sexy. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. It's great.
Sounds like the sexiest thing I ever heard in my life.
To be fair, they have been around for MLB's been around for 150 years,
segregation,
bro.
they've been around.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of time to figure it out.
Hey, Omar, if Giannis is the best player in the league, how come he couldn't win more games with his team?
I hate when you ask me questions that you know the answer to.
I don't know the answer to. I'm trying to Trying
He
to
didn't
level
play
set
every game.
Because
expectations.
Brooke Lopez was injured. Boom.
Is Brooke Lopez?
I mean, we know we literally know that that's not how team sports works. So that's why I don't necessarily even I don't even think I understand the question, to be honest with you. Omar, if he's the best player in the league, then how come his individual self can't overcome team sports? I don't
I
think
mean, he had Drew Holiday, he had Chris Middleton, two guys that one guy did make the All-Star team, another guy arguably should have made it. And comparing him to Jokic had.
But we know that that's not how team sports works.
Yes.
So I don't even understand. Like, again, it sounds crazy. I don't think I understand the question.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because we know that in a team sport, it doesn't work like that where you have the individual best player in the league and then you can just somehow overcome playing 5 dudes. We know that. We've seen that before.
But I mean, if you give him two All-Star caliber players and he only wins 3 more games, then the guy has no All-Star caliber players on his team.
Again,
how can you
were
sit
the
there and
Heat
say he's the
in the
MVP?
NBA every single year?
What are we talking about?
Were the Bulls also number 1 seed every single year?
They weren't.
What?
Okay.
he's just asking about the Bulls. I mean, was that ever the case in any other year in NBA history? If you have the best player in the league, you have the best record as well. We know it doesn't work like that.
I don't remember the last time LeBron was in 1 seed.
Yeah,
Stop.
it was
That's
I think it's second.
Swipe it. Go ahead. Turn this into the Jokic.
No, I think LeBron was the first seed in the LA Lakers season.
Was that a bubble year?
Right.
Funny. Yeah, my bad. He was number 1. That's funny.
That's that year him and Anthony Davis took over the world. Yeah, well, and to be fair, they had the bubble break too, because they might not have, because number 2 that season was. I'm trying to figure out. I don't remember who number 2 that season was.
The Clippers.
It might have been
the Clippers.
It was the Clippers. Yeah, that's right. Because the Clippers and the Nuggets were 2 and 3 that season, and the Clippers played the Nuggets in the second round.
We could probably go down the list. It might have been a long time, like since the best player in the league has had the best.
What Giannis record. 2 years ago?
2 years ago?
That was the 1920 season, but again, that was the bubble, right? So like, LeBron not had that 5-month break, they might not have won. So I'm not trying to discredit it. I'm saying like Giannis was
you're right.
Coming up, like he was.
Yeah, he was.
I guess I'm thinking more like late Cavs years, 2018.
So then, give me another example outside of Giannis.
Jordan was number 1 seed that 98 year. I think it depends on how you evaluate Tim Duncan. I think there's a case Tim Duncan.
We're not talking about like in a 1 year, but we're talking about more just the whole time that they were the best players.
Was Tim?
In the NBA, not necessarily.
No, I'll honestly go for the 1 year. If we said that Tim Duncan was the best player in 2003, and then they had the best record in 2003, then
I think Tim Duncan is just underrated. So like, I don't think we as children, I can count myself in that, did not consider him like the best in the league, but that's because again, I was like that tween-headed community I was a part of as a child. I'm not sure if any of y'all are familiar with scripture, but when I was a child, I thought like a child. But when I became a man, I put childish things behind me. Then that's kind of what happened in my basketball game, bro.
I thought you were talking about Twitter. No, I'm Muslim. I thought you were talking about a Twitter account. I ain't even.
Nah, bro. So look, man, Omar, talk to me, my bro. Talk to me, my boy. Why folks hating the media vote? Because I just want everybody to understand, like the players used to vote for the MVP. And the players also do preseason picks every year. So ESPN puts out a poll of what they want to do and what they think. And the players, when the Zion Williamson draft came out, they had Cam Reddish as the best long-term prospect of any player in the rookie cast that same season. The players are also saying, Ja Morant, Draymond Green, that Devin Booker is the MVP over Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic this season. So I think if you look at the players' history, even the players' all-star votes, and who they put in the All-Star game over the last couple of seasons, the reason they started rescinding the players' value in the All-Star votes is because they were putting these crazy picks in there, and they didn't make any basketball sense whatsoever. Because again,
you talking about like the niggas?
We know.
Like
we know players don't know how to vote.
So I think
I don't
Yeah,
know what this.
we're
I
with you
think
on that.
right, and then we could go, and I know we could go to BCS role because y'all remember how BCS votes used to be, where before they had the voting pool from the committee, they would just say, "Hey, the computer puts the generated algorithm together," and like Nebraska's going to play against Miami, and Miami ends up washing them 60-28, basically, and like that's how the BCS bowls were determined. Even Miami played against Ohio State, so we would get all these overmatched games, but the BCS community said, and then one year Miami wasn't even in the bowl. They beat Florida State one of those seasons and didn't get in the bowl, and that's when Florida State, I think, played against Virginia Tech, I want to say. And it was because of the BCS ranking. So the algorithm can be put into the score as well. So I think what happened is they just settled on the media over the years because the media, they get 108 voters from every market, and it's their responsibility to then watch their games from their teams and then also watch what's happening around the NBA. And so I think it's just been that I know I feel like y'all can correct me on this. I feel like the Harden year was probably one of the most highly contested and highly debated ones. I think the Giannis LeBron year, it was pretty clear that Giannis was just he was like probably overtaking its best regular season player. That second one he won especially. I think that
I'm surprised you ain't highlight the Rush year.
well, the thing is,
The Russ
but
year.
honestly, bro, like Chris Broussard talked about it today. What Russ did was so spectacular that we hadn't seen it. Like no one actually thought. Like remember going into that season, 2016-17 season. A part of it was the bad blood between Russ and KD because of how KD left. So Russ had this narrative as like this dude that was left in the dust by somebody who did him wrong, and then everybody was speculating, man, could Russ average a triple double? Everybody's like, heck no. Nobody done that since Oscar Robertson. There's no way you could do enough, have physical effort every single game to do that. And then Russ ended up averaging a triple double, had 41 triple doubles of 82 games that year, and he played every game that season. And then versus the Denver Nuggets, he hit that game-winning shot for a three-pointer to set the all-time triple double record for most triple doubles in the season. So he had this like crazy stat narrative, this crazy media narrative with the KD stuff, and he dragged them to the playoff where it was him, Victor Oladipo, Steven Adams, and they had a decent team around him. And he also had the highest usage percentage in NBA history. So at that point in time, we didn't realize how like bad it was to have a usage rating that was that high. I mean, I think it was Cognac, Father Omar. I think it was like a 50. Like he had like a 50% usage percentage or something crazy that year.
Father Omar.
Damn, bro. You didn't call
Damn,
my
But
name. What's
okay.
up? Why
and
didn't you call
I
my
don't
name,
Cognac
bro?
Father
What's up?
Omar. Is that a podcast name?
Damn.
bro, I
Right,
don't
right. There
I
you
don't
go. There
dis-
you go.
I
Just
don't
The big
fucking
disagree.
three.
remember?
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I remember how it went down. However, when you do that, you set the precedent, and I don't think that. I think that also the power that the media has is like super underplayed when they get on these sports shows, when they get on Twitter and tweet out, and when they paint these narratives about these players.
That's fine if you say that, but
Which narrative?